Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. Nice to see everyone here. It's Tuesday night. It's the 27th of September. God, almost 3/4 of the year gone. Well, the best bit's still to come, isn't it? Because many of us will be traveling abroad pretty soon. Some of you are already probably out there. Okay, let's just say hello to everyone. It's you go. Nice to hear from you. Leeds, Chaz Brown, Michael Janaeus, William the First, Delayed Dave, Delayed Dave, good evening. David Coleman, what's this? David, hi, Eddie, I'm just watching the crack. Oh my God. We try not to use the D words. I could make a joke out of that. No, I'm not going to be doing that. Oh my God, this person knows. It's nice to be known. It's nice for people to know what you're all about, okay? 90 minutes on the exercise bike. A few cans of Coors Light, and I said, man, this guy knows me. He knows me. He knows what I'm all like. What I'm all about, I should say. Yeah, I'm doing well. Get that out of the way. But, you know, I'm doing well now. About another 6 weeks or so to go on my daily exercise routine. I'm actually doing the best part of 2 hours now on the exercise bike in front of, you know, my favorite YouTube videos. I mean, I was watching all kind of interesting stuff on YouTube, and when you're watching something interesting, the time just flies by. And then I do my speed walk about country lane. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Nice of you to mention it. Up to me, good evening. Ian Y. Yeah, okay. Ian Y. Hi, Eddie. I've just watched. I came. Oh, yeah. Well, I came by. That's the movie on Netflix, isn't it? It's a British movie. It's a modern movie, but it's very, very much like an Alfred Hitchcock movie and that kind of stuff. And it's a good movie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anyway, good stuff. I am Tilt. Nice to hear from you, mate. Yogi Bear. Nice to hear from you. Jeff Newman. Hi, Eddie. I'm at Heathrow on my Eva Air flight, waiting to take off. Happy days. Good for you, mate. Good for you. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. That's great. That's terrific. Oh, well, I'll drink to that, mate. Okay. Jen Travelaki, evening, Eddie. Hope you are well, mate. Next tip getting nearer for you. It is, and like you say, you know by now my obsession. You know, I'm determined that by the time I get on that plane, I'm going to be so much lighter. The pot belly, you know, it will go, it will go, but it takes time. It takes time. Martin Blonston, good evening. My wife. GBP USD seems to have stabilized, even though it's really low. Cambodia still dirt cheap though. I'm not gonna read. There could be a lawsuit here. I'm not gonna read that last. Oh, you pulled the fast one on me, didn't you, you bitch? Okay, Chaz Brown. Tuesday evenings aren't complete until we all watch the live stream. Thank you. Thanks for that. It's nice to know. It's nice to know, isn't it, that, you know, it's now that, you know, I can bombastically say I've got 2 lively YouTube channels. There's the main one, which is, you know, had a bit of a run recently with the Alex Belfield video, even though my channel isn't about that. It's a travel channel. But that's brought extra subscribers. And also in this little old channel here, last night, I think I went over 200 in the chat. There was almost a constant 200 in the chat last night, which is very, very nice because this is a small live channel. So I've got 2 lively little channels, you know, nothing to complain about. Kipax, nice to hear from you. I do like hairy. Yeah, so do I. Let's see. HMRC benefits you. Getting cold now in the west. Winter is coming. Yeah, it does seem that way. Niall M, Stephen Gamble, David Coleman. Let me see. David Merchant, Pinball, Andrew Hammond. Good evening, Eddie. Okay, good evening for you. The Ralph, what's your me, Eddie? I'm both barstering with 2 slightly drunken ladies. Okay. David David Coleman, Eddie, I'm not trying to criticize, but how do you drink all the time? Well, not all the time. Oh, this is only my third bottle today. You know, but this, you know, only my third bottle today. This afternoon, while I'm on the bike, I drink flavored water. I drink flavored water. I drink a big bottle of that each day, and then I go exercising. And I did have a couple of calls after my late afternoon meal, but I felt I deserved it simply because I'd done all that exercise, and then I went to sleep and I woke up and I had a cup of coffee. So it's of a night time. This is when I do a bit of drink. I have a late night drink, but God, you got to have a lot. You got to have some moments in the day when you just let yourself go. You know what I mean? I mean, after this stream, I might watch a video or something. When you're watching a video of a nighttime, do you want to sit there without without anything to drink? A bit miserable, that really. There we go. Anyway. Alan Hunter, Eddie, you're losing it off your face. Cause light is the answer. Okay, yeah. Well, I've done it said, Eddie, you're off your face. I've been there a few times. Thanks anyway, mate. Let's see. Ichigo, I'm planning on staying in Thailand for 3 months. How do I transfer money out to myself without using my debit card on ATM? There's all kinds of things. Perhaps someone could help you that way, because I don't do that. I don't transfer money. I often, I'm not saying what I often do. That's my business. But I think you've got things like, is it Wise? It's called Wise, and also you've got Western Union and stuff like that. I don't use them personally, so I'm not an expert on that. Paul Harrison, nice to hear from you. Let's see. Ichigo. Alan H. Ichigo. Oh, he's talking to somebody else there. Rusty Lid, nice to hear from you, mate. I met Rusty Lid a few months walking down Southeast Asia to help trim things up. Yes and no, Rusty Lid. I met Rusty Lid in Batai once, and he's still out there, so good for him. There's a bit of an irony here. I do tons more under normal terms. I do tons more exercise abroad when I do it, because I walk everywhere. For my videos that I've made in every country I've ever been in, I walk for miles and miles every day. Wherever I am, I just walk for miles and miles every day. The thing is, in a hot climate, when I sit down again, I have a couple of beers and then a couple of more beers, and it's probably something that we should talk about sometimes. Some beers are a lot more calories than another, and it's not always apparent. I mean, maybe I'll get the chart on. We'll see how many calories are in each beer. I'll go with this cause because it's tasty. A lot of low-calorie beers don't, they're like, pay you really. I mean, they're not nice. But this cause, this is actually very, very nice. It is actually very, very nice. The thing is, if you're drinking it all the time abroad, it probably is better to drink a low-calorie beer, because the lower calories, it all helps in the long run. Mark Ollig, nice to hear from you, Mark. Nice to hear from you. Let's see. David Barner, getting cold, can't wait. David Barner, getting cold, can't wait to get back to Thailand. Okay, I think we're all like that. Capo 17, Ed, will you be in Steady Eddie live shows when you're in Thailand? Now, it is a bit of a problem. It is a problem to do something like this, simply because Thailand is 6 hours ahead of us. So when it's 10 o'clock in the evening, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But when the hour goes back next month, that becomes 7 hours. So 10 o'clock in the evening here is about 5 o'clock in the morning in Thailand. And what's the state you think I'm going to be in at 5 o'clock in the morning? I mean, but we'll see what we can do anyway. We'll see what we can do. See what we can do about that. Because like I said, I mean, my other channel is the main channel. That's the main travel channel. But I wouldn't like to give up on this one either, because this is a nice, lively little community here. And I love it. I love having you guys along here every on, on Mondays and Tuesdays. Dutch Farang. Let's see. And Andrew Blade. Ed, why do you have a separate channel for the chats? Oh, you mean well, this is a larger. See, the thing is, I've done live streams on the other channel, the main channel, but live streams and videos don't always go together very well. So that's why I like the idea. The other channel is for videos, and this one's for live streams. But the thing about live streams, your channel doesn't grow as fast with live streams, which is why, like, I think I'm up to about 1,700 subs on this one. It's not a lot, but like you say, I mean, we do get a fair amount of people in the chat, and it's okay. It's a good little channel. It's a good little channel. Sometimes live streams can be precarious. They can be a little bit precarious and unpredictable. And if I was to say something absolutely wrong and you know, something out of order was to come back on me, then at least I've done it on this channel, not my main one. Understand, I've had my other channel for about 5 years. I've got it up to 43,000 subscribers and well over 12 million views. It takes some doing to do that. And that's why I feel like I want to protect it. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Barry Harmon. Hi, Eddie. Did you like Wahin? Looks nice. Going to go there when I'm over in town. Well, Wahin is... It's well worth a visit, well worth a visit. It's a lot of expats like Wahin because it's some places are good to visit and some places are good to live. And a lot of people who move to Thailand would like to live in Wahin. It is a nice place. I think it was a little bit. It's not the most exciting place, but it's well worth a visit anyway. Niall M, do things your own way, Ed. Absolutely. Gary Hughes. That's been my motto all along, that, mate. Do things my own way. Gary Hughes, good evening. Okay, here we go. La, 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 la. Let's see. Ed Sweeney, 20 stone wide, back in England. I'd love to be on the seat. I'd love to be on that seat in the exercise. Oh, you bloody crush it, you would. Let's see. The Ralph, any other travel plans to South America travel? Are you just going to contain your travel to Asia? I'm going to contain my travel to Asia. Am I going to say, you know, say my travel to Asia? Probably, because the fact is I've done all the stuff that I need to. My aim now is to go to countries that I enjoy rather than interesting countries. I've done all the interesting countries, and I think now I just want to go to the places which I enjoy. And I think Southeast Asia, well, you know, that's it's not a bad place, and that's what the main channel is based on. Who's this? Up to me. Was planning going out to Bangkok in December. Car has a major electric fault. Gareth said could be over 1,500, so bought a new car today. That's my holiday money gone. Never know, my got out in January. Oh, well. No, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, mate. That's absolutely dreadful. That's absolutely dreadful. That's absolutely bloody dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Sorry about that. Up to me. Get Wise account, mate, for sending money to yourself. Okay. Seamus Doherty, I got that legitimate Thai massage today. Did you really? Oh, well, good for you, mate. Was that on your feet? Was it okay? You know, that's good. Good for you. I can't comment on clean massages. I prefer dirty ones personally. Donald Trump, nice to see another live stream. Okay, nice to have you here anyway. Ian UK, Ed, you must have a bladder the size of an elephant. You never see. Oh, I do. I pee like a bloody horse. I do. Yoz Travels. Good evening, guys. Now, okay, nice to hear from you, Yoz. I won't say what Ed Sweeney's 20 stone wife, the comments she made there earlier, but nice to have you here anyway. Okay. David Coleman, Cuba legalized same-sex marriage. More women for me. Oh, Jesus Christ, oh my. Oh. Okay, so where are we now? Where are we? Okay. Alan H. Ichigo, look into a post office travel card. I used one last time I was in Thailand. Okay. That's good. This is what this channel's all about. If I can't give it advice on a certain amount of stuff, then other people will. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's good. So up to now we've had the post office and also Wise. For transferring money. I do it another way, Percy, and it kind of suits me. Delayed Dave. Chase Bank is the best for overseas transactions and cash withdrawals. No charges, and even pay you interest on your spending. Chase Bank, that's bloody good. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Let me see. Natural in the buff Vietnamese lady. Have you ever come across a bus that it was so big, it was it was too much? Do you know what? I'd give anything for one of them right now. No, I prefer the word hairy. The word hairy is a lovely, sexy word. I do like hairy. Bottle baby, when you decide it is normal to be drinking much more than when you were on scheduled, okay? Well, at least I'm not drinking day and night and day and night, okay? I occasionally have a couple of beers in the afternoon, but I get all my exercise out of the way with early on in the day, and it's working. It's working. Paul Harrison, when a tired would walk Beach Road and back each morning. Well, that's good. That's good. That's exactly. I do more or less the same. Seamus Doherty, you should do the live streams regardless of time difference. You never know. You never know who will tune in. I mean, when I was doing like daytime live streams, I mean, if I didn't want to like say 3 in the afternoon in Thailand, then that would be about 8 in the morning in England, which is very early. But in America, it would be about 2 or 3 in the morning, which is unthinkable, really. So, I mean, the time difference is a bit of a bugger, really. Martin Powell, apparently you can go to Bangkok Bank or Kazakhstan Bank with your passport and bank card from your home country, and they will let you withdraw any amount if you want in baht. The fees are less than ATM. Yeah, but what kind of queue do you have to stand in? I mean, the thing is, I don't know if I've never actually done that in a Thai bank. I mean, in Turkey, Jesus Christ, Almighty, you are waiting hours. A little bit, if you're in a place like Turkey, and it may be the same with any country, really. If you actually go into a bank and stand in a queue, don't do it on a Monday, because Monday, the first day of the week, that's when everyone wants to do it. You're much better leaving it till Wednesday or Thursday. That's much better. I mean, on a blazing hot day in a tropical country, the last thing you want to be doing is stuck inside a bloody bank for hours on end. No, I'll tell a lie. Come to think of it, I did. Come to think of it, I did do that. In a very, very small bank in a shopping arcade, in a shopping precinct in Bangkok. I did do it only because I seen that there was hardly anybody else there. So I did do that once. Yeah, come to think of it. Let's see. Kipax, do morning from Thailand if you can. Morning. So, yeah. I mean, the thing is, 8 o'clock in the morning will be about what there will be about 1 o'clock in the morning here, which is not a good time. But at least it will be about 8 p.m. in the evening in America. Anyway, Karen Farang from the jungle, nice to hear from you. Joe Hart, nice to hear from you. 90 minutes on the exercise bike. Would you ever consider doing a 90-minute live stream on the bike? I'd have to position this laptop in a certain way, wouldn't I? I think most people would find it really. They'd probably find that annoying, wouldn't they? If I was to do that, I'd probably find it annoying. Let's say Yogi Bear. If you change things to 12 midday, it's 7 p.m. in the UK. If you change it to 12 midday, it's 7 p.m. in the UK. No, if it's 7 p.m. in Thailand, 7 p.m., it's 12 midday in Britain. That's the way. Oh, I don't know. It's all confusing, really, isn't it? I just wish the whole world could be on the same time zone. It would make sense, wouldn't it? Simon Eyes, evening, Eddie, everyone. Nice to be home from work. Time with a few beers. Day off tomorrow. Yeah, everyone, when they finish work, everyone has a nice drink, don't they? Simon and Siam, nice to hear from you. Mike from Wales. Cats and good coffee. Yours travels, playing golf tomorrow. Question, any decent golf courses around Thailand? Well, I don't play golf myself, but I do know in Pattaya, and I think in Hua Hin as well, golf is quite popular there. I mean, I was in Weatherspoons in Soibacau once, and a bunch of golfers came in. I mean, so I think, in Pattaya, maybe someone else can tell you that, but I don't do golf personally. But there are golf courses around Pattaya and Hua Hin, but I don't know how good they are. Let's see, AJ, hello. What about the rocket shot into the asteroid? Thunderbirds are go. Oh yeah, I used to like Thunderbirds. David Coleman, thanks for explaining about your channel. I know you have to protect the main one from YouTube. What I will say is that there are some people who've had really, really good YouTube channels, pretty big YouTube channels as well, and they've started doing live streams on a regular basis, and they've had issues with trolls and other stuff, and they've kind of lost it on their main channel during the live stream, and they've had lots of great videos on that channel. But I think that losing it on that live stream has really caused their channel a lot of problems. So I have to protect that channel. Let's see. Rusty Lid, the biscuit Ed had in Hua Hin with the hat at the lovely bottom. The biscuit Ed had in Hua Hin. I don't know that one. Can't think about that one. Who's this? Paul Hauser, what's Blade Runner again today? Thoroughly enjoyed Ageless Classic. Well, I watched Blade Runner, some months ago. Bloody good. Great to see that movie. It's actually a very, very slow-moving movie, that one. But it's very, very iconic. What I will mention is that I got an email today from Netflix, and they're the ones who tempted me with, $9.99, and it went up to 15 quid. And I had Netflix for a couple of years, and I just didn't, I just couldn't be bothered with it. I didn't cancel it. I think after a year, they just, you have to renew it, and I didn't renew it. But I've had it for the last year, but I hardly use it. And not only that, the problem I have with Netflix, an awful lot of the stuff that you see on Netflix is actually aimed at a younger audience. I mean, when I say younger audience, anything with bloody 25-year-olds in it, I mean, that's too young for me. I like adults, that's too young for me. So I got an email from Netflix today saying, I think you need to renew. My bank account's credit card account's absolutely fine, but I think after a year, you have to renew, and I haven't done. They've sent me an email. I'm not going to renew. Because most of the year I just don't even. When I was in Thailand earlier this year for 4 months, in fact, all the time that I've been abroad, I just don't use Netflix. I just don't use it, and a lot of these stuff, they do have some crap on there. They really, really do. Really, really do. I've still got Amazon. I mean, Anyway. Yogi Bear, sorry, I got it the wrong way around. If you do it 7 p.m. Thai time, it's midday in the UK, but you have to consider the rest of the world. Yeah, absolutely. That's like 7. Yeah, absolutely. It all gets very, very. It's all very okay. Ray Carlton, hi Eddie. Ray from Hisarana. Where the gentleman? Yeah, I remember you, Ray. You could have another channel with your karaoke songs. I'll start with you. Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I did Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West. In his, I've done that in a few places. And I'll tell you what, when you do that song, it's only when you start doing it for the karaoke you realize what a fast-moving song that is. You really, 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 really do have to keep on your toes with that. With that song. Two Ton Ted from Teddington, when she's seen the size of his hot mince pies. The problem, I'd love to do a channel with karaoke stuff. The problem is all the copyright issues. You just can't do it. It's not possible. Nice to hear from you anyway, Ray. Pinball, Ed, do you have any film footage or photos of your past travels you could put together and talk about like in a vlog like Carl's Thailand does? Well, let me just say, I had a camcorder, which I took around South America, and I filmed hours on it, but I filmed it on the hard drive. And I've actually tried, to get the hard drive downloaded to a disk, and somehow I just can't really seem to do it. I don't know. I've been, I've taken it to a technician, and they can't seem to do it. A computer expert, they can't seem to do it somehow. So there is plenty of stuff on that hard drive of my 6 months of South America travels, but I can't seem to. Maybe I'll make another attempt. But the fact is, I had to transfer to a disc once, but it was a poor quality disc. So you never know. You never know. So there's some good stuff there. I mean, there's the Amazon rainforest. There's there's the stayed in a jungle lodge in the rainforest. Bolivia. So there's some Bolivia. Oh yeah, now you've made me think. Now Bolivia. There's some really, really good footage from Bolivia. Maybe from Peru and Brazil. Yeah, there's good stuff from Brazil as well. You made me think maybe I should make another attempt, but I've had this thing, and even that a computer expert can't really seem to. Well, if I find the right one, I will do it. I will do it. Yogi Bear, I send by XE money. It's free to send, and they give you a good rate. Well, that's good, isn't it? Okay, thanks for all the info, guys, on that. Canon Farang from the jungle. Ed, you can open a bank account on a tourist visa. With you being in Thailand so often, why not open a bank account and save yourself the constant ATM fees and exchange rates? It might be an idea that, it might be an idea. And maybe for the future, maybe that's something to consider, really. David Coleman, Eddie, what about this leak in the Russian gas line under the ocean? They think it was sabotage. I've heard that news story, but I don't really know what it's all about, really. I think it's just wait and see. The thing is, when we first heard of Chernobyl in the 1980s, the first I ever heard of it on the news, the very first report, is that Sweden is accusing Russia of a nuclear cloud drifting their way, because their alarm bells have gone off in Sweden. That was the very, very first news story that I heard of it. And then all of a sudden, all bloody hell broke loose after that, didn't it? So you just got to wait and see, really. Popcorn, Ian, that sort of John Wayne film was on last week, and would like to know, do you think the cowboy Western film is now dead? That's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously the cowboy, the Westerns was all about John Wayne and the golden age. I think there was some great American Western films made in the 60s. Films like The Professionals with Lee Marvin, The Magnificent Seven, of course, and then much later a wonderful film called The Wild Bunch. Some great stuff, and then Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I mean, some wonderful movies made then. Western movies. I think really it was dying, and that's when all of a sudden the spaghetti westerns they brought something new and fresh into it, didn't they? Really, but it's sort of faded away, really. And I think during the 70s, I mean, I think there's only a couple of really classic westerns. 70s and 80s. I mean, they were both done by Clint Eastwood, really. I mean, there's the Outlaw Josie Wales, wasn't there? Pale Rider, and then Unforgiven, really. So there's a few westerns in that. But what kind of western I didn't like I didn't like those pretty boy movies. What was it? What was it? Young Guns. I don't like any of that. All those pretty boy, yeah, westerns and all. And I look westerns. I like westerns. They look like grimy, filthy heroes like Clint, who hasn't had a wash for about 5 weeks. So is the western film now dead? I think the last decent western I seen was the remake of The Magnificent Seven. That was pretty good. That is actually a good movie. But it's not really a popular genre in this day and age, really. So I wouldn't say it's dead. I think someone will come along and make a really great western movie, and then it will spark off again. But I don't think there's been one for quite a while, has there? I haven't seen one. Richard Palawak, nice to hear from you, mate. Monzo and sterling are good for overseas withdrawals when on holiday. Monzo, £200 free international withdrawal. That's good. Well, this is great. Great information coming this way. Thanks to all you guys who are giving this information. That's terrific. David Coleman, Eddie, tell the truth. You know you're trying to get back to the Cuba. I've only ever been to Cuba once. That was about 20 years ago. It was, what I can say with regard to the ladies there, it was brief but spectacular. Brief but spectacular, shall we say? But it's one of those. It is one of those places that I've always intended to go back to. Somehow I've never ever made it there. You never know. You never know. Sandra Taylor, hi Eddie. Hope this typhoon Noro calms down before reaching Thailand tomorrow. There's all kinds of. The thing is, I've only had fleeting reports about typhoons and other stuff going on. It just seems all the news that I watch is about the pound and the pound, collapsing and all this kind of stuff, and about the government and everything. So I've only seen fleeting reports about all of this, but my thoughts are always with people who run small businesses and are likely to have them blown away. That's truly dreadful. Nice to hear from you, Sandra, anyway. Tom Easton, good evening. Fran Rush, hi Ed, you're going to smoke some weed in Thailand when you're back now that it's finally legalized. I've never done that. I don't smoke cigarettes. I've never smoked cigarettes. I don't smoke. I don't smoke anything. I just don't. I don't think that's for me. I don't think that's for me somehow. Because the fact is, I know people, even people my age, who smoke all that kind of stuff on a regular basis, and quite often it seems to go hand in hand. With them having addictions and having no money, and always bloody borrowing off you, and squandering the money on weed and and then asking you for a lend of a $5 or a bloody tenner, whatever. It always seems to go. I'm not saying all people who smoke weed are all low lives and bums. I'm just saying that the ones that I've met tend to be. I don't really think that's for me. I think at my age, I'll give that a miss somehow. Anyway, funnily enough, I did watch. Well, we're talking about movies. The other night, I watched a movie. I think it was quite a few years old. It was Ali J with Sacha Baron Cohen, and bloody good. It was corny as hell. It must have been an old movie because what was it? Martin Freeman was in it, and he looked very, very young in that movie. But I thought the scenes with Ali G smoking the blow. I thought it was quite funny. But I just don't do it myself. I just don't do it. David Barner, Bank of Bangkok, easy to open an account and just send funds via XE works well for me. Okay, this is great. Listen, if anyone wants to know about the way to transfer money from England to Thailand, play this stream back in the chat. And there's all kinds of there's all kinds of info on it. I think I'll play this stream back just to see all the info that's on it. It's terrific. Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys. David Coleman, I had to go to a bank in Jamaica. Oh my God, never again. I would imagine the problem with going to a bank like that is you've got to be careful who's waiting for you when you come out. Yeah, I know what you mean. Funnily enough, I went to a bank in in Brazil once. Well, which city was it? I can't remember which city was it. What city was it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what city I was in. But I went to a bank in Brazil, and basically I needed money back in in England. I had my passport and I had my bank card. Uh, But I had a bit of a problem. Can't remember the exact details. But I went into this bank in Brazil. And of course, in Brazil, everyone's bloody got bloody Kalashnikovs and all kinds of handguns and everything. All the security guards. It's dreadful. And I went into it and I had a bit of a problem. And I sometimes when I have a problem, I can get a little bit over here. I mean, not in an aggressive way, but I went over. And I remember speaking to this nice Brazilian girl, but I need money. Can I get money out of here? But I didn't speak Portuguese, and she didn't really speak English. But I was like waffling on in this strange, and before I knew it, the bloody security guards were coming over. Like maybe this scruffy looking fella in this strange foreign voice seemed a bit aggressive. I mean, I wasn't. I was just being me. But before I know it, they were coming on, they had all these guns on them, they were staring at me, ready to shoot me. Not a nice experience, But I did get, the girl actually did turn out to be really, really helpful. And I did get the money out. Ian Bowden, am I alone in wishing the whole world bans smoking in public? Suppose the moment went downwind to a smoker in a bar or whatever. Well, smoking in public, I mean, it's well, if you're outdoors, it's better as long as they're in their own little quarters. I mean, as a non-smoker, I wouldn't want to go into a smoky place. Funny enough, what surprised me I mean, smoking has been banned in pubs and other places here for quite a few years now. I mean, when I went to travel around Germany I think about 6 years ago. I always thought Germany's a very, very advanced, very progressive country and very, draconian. That's what I thought anyway. But I was surprised that people were smoking in bars there, and I didn't expect that anyway. Anyway, I hope you're having a great holiday in Benidorm, mate. Nice to hear from you. Seamus Doherty, golf is pricey in Thailand. Really? Is it really? Is it really? Well, see, this is what this channel's all about. I mean, Yoz asked the question before, and there's info coming through here. Karen Farang from the jungle, loads of decent golf courses all over Thailand. Yeah, I do believe that it is pretty good for that sort of thing. Let me see now. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, nice. Go on, get in there. Nice. Oh, this course is bloody good, It's good stuff. It is good stuff. Oh, that's so nice. It is good, and it's a lower calorie beer. Bloody good stuff. What's the comment? David Coleman. I never smoked. I hate it. It's a disgusting, dirty habit. Don't get me going. I mean, what I can't understand is how expensive it is. I mean, what is the price of a pack of 20? I've actually met people who claim that they smoke bloody 60 or 80 cigarettes a day. I mean, how much does all of that cost? So, people often say to me, how come you can afford to go abroad for months each year? Well, I don't smoke. I mean, some people probably spend more on cigarettes in a year than what I spend on my travels. I just don't smoke. I don't know how much a packet of cigarettes is. It's probably an extortionate amount. I mean, what I do know about, when I was in Turkey, I mean, Turkey's supposed to be not a wealthy country. They all smoke. Even Turks. Even when they're doing something, even a physical activity, when they're working, and they're doing a physical activity, they've still got a bloody fag hanging from their mouth. You know, I don't know how they do it. Oh. Ian Barnes, David Cut, it's so antisocial. Mickey Pay, loads of very good golf courses in Thailand, yours. See, there you go, yours. It's good stuff here, good stuff here. Maybe you could name a few for yours. Maybe tell him which are the ones that he needs to see, where he needs to visit. Emma Dale, Emma Dale, my Eddie, would you consider selling me your musky jockstrap after the session on the bike? That's so good. That's so sexy. I'm going to read that out again. Emma Dale, my Eddie, would you consider selling me your musky jockstrap after a session on the bike? Okay. Only on one condition, Emma. I would like you to wring your knickers out over my cornflakes. Now, if you can do that for me, then I'll do that for you. Okay. Yours travels. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. HMRC Bermondsey, did you see that new Bay Bar complex being built on Walker Street? I did see on a video. I did see something about that, but I'm not in Thailand right now, so I will see all that. I mean, it'll be nice. I'm a fan of Walking Street. I love Walking Street. I know a few years ago it became fashionable to knock it and say it's all for tourists and you know, various minorities and that sort of stuff. For me, Pattaya wouldn't be Pattaya without Walking Street. And I know Walking Street is touristy, which means it's more expensive. It's more expensive than obviously than somewhere like Soibakau. But come on, let's be realistic here. With Walking Street, there's a strong element if you get what you pay for. And the quality on Walking Street is today. The live bands are better. The go-go bars are better. Everything's better than Walking Street. So you pay more money. Okay, Barry Harmon, 57 pesos to euro in Philippines, Angeles, Subic Bay, good place, but still have one pass for entry. That is a real put off. Okay. Yours travels. He's had the information that he wants. Up to me. I won't be taking my clubs over, but it's good to know for the future. There you go. Thanks, and I really do appreciate all the guys in the chat. We've had a couple of questions tonight about transferring money and golf courses, and the guys here have been very, very helpful. So that is terrific. That's terrific. David Mayer, nice to hear from you. Let me see. David Mayer, there are some good movies on YouTube. I mean, I think you get old stuff and some more obscure. I did watch a thriller quite, a while ago. It was very much a B movie, one that I'd never heard of. And you used to get those movies years ago, didn't you? Straight to video. Well, when it didn't have what it takes to go around the cinemas, it was straight to video. I think YouTube's a little bit like that. Blade Runner, it really is good. Even the second one I like. It's talking about the remake of Blade. Oh no, I didn't like that. I switched it off. I thought, you know what? I mean, movies are supposed to be entertainment. I think Ryan Gosling was in it. I think this movie is this movie is forgotten that movies are supposed to be entertaining, and that wasn't. Now, it's an interesting one. Simon Eyes 41, Eddie, please be careful. There's a scam email going around pretending to be from Netflix about memberships, saying that you need to update your bank details as they haven't been able to take payment. Well, I wouldn't have done it that way anyway. But yeah, absolutely. That's good. That is good. That is good. Thank you for that, Simon Eyes 41. I'm going to read that out again because that is so important. There's all these bloody scams going around. Eddie, please be careful. There's a scam email going around pretending to be from Netflix about memberships, saying that you need to update your bank details as they haven't been able to take payments. Okay. Now that's worth thinking about, everyone. Worth thinking about. Okay. Thanks for that, Simon. I really appreciate that. Yeah, more from you. Yours, look at the Links Hotel Pattaya website. They go golfing 3 times a week to different courses. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys who I was chatting to in Sober Cow, that's they'd all they being taken there on a bus, so some organized tour. Eastern man, I never made the decision to drink less. I got to my mid 50s and I started getting the urge less and less. When I do drink, it's still like a proper session. See, this is the thing that I don't like to do nowadays. To drink, I don't want to go on a bender. I don't want to go on a 12-hour bender or nothing like that. I don't really want to do that. I like to drink, watching a movie or even chatting here or when you're relaxed at home. Why the hell not? It's not as if I'm going to get in my car after. I'm not going to go driving a car afterwards. Simon Eyes, Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 are superb movies. Both soundtracks are epic as well. Seawall from 2049 is fantastic. I honestly know that one. Seawall. I must admit, I love the first Blade Runner movie. I love the first, but the second one, I think I watched about an hour of. It's quite a long movie. I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get it. Maybe I should give it another try. Maybe another try. I don't know. Kipax, I started watching Dharma before on Netflix. Very good and very shocking. Okay. Thanks for that. Ian Bowden. Yes, that will be the reality from now. Personally, I found the smell of dope so less vile than the putrid chemical smell from fags. Oh, let me see now. Okay, let me see. Mickey Pay. Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven. What a film. No, Unforgiven, that was the movie that finally brought Clint Oscars. He was nominated for a number. He got it for Best Director, didn't he? And that's a very, very highly rated movie. That came out in the mid 90s that came out. And it was probably a good movie. I must admit, that's not one of my favorite Clint movies. It really isn't. It's simply because I think it's a good movie, but it's a little bit depressing, that movie. It's not. I like I like the movies where where Clint shoots 5 men with 4 bullets and all that kind of stuff. I watched A Fistful of Dollars on the TV a couple of weeks ago. And my God, that guy, was what an amazing movie. Still a fantastic movie. Unforgiven, I found it a little bit depressing. That I preferred things like High Plains Drifter and The Outlaw Josie Wales to that one. Michael Janae's Tombstone. I've never managed to catch up with that one, funnily enough. Yogi Bear, the new Magnificent Seven movie, is a good movie. Are you talking about the one that came out a few years? That's bloody good. About 3 or 4 years ago. Good stuff. David Mayer, West Indian samurai films. Well, the Magnificent Seven and A Fistful of Dollars were based on Japanese samurai movies, weren't they? In the UK, apparently all you need to do in Thailand is go on a bank with your passport and withdraw using your bank card from the UK over the counter, and they don't take fees and no account needed. That sounds bloody good. That sounds good to me. Okay, that sounds good to me. Okay, thanks for the info. Mister, what's this? Eddie doing a Jane Fonda. What are you talking about, a Jane Fonda workout? Is she still alive, Jane Fonda? Is she? She's a brilliant actress, Jane Fonda. Brilliant. She's a bit scary here, though. I remember I watched that movie Clute, and she really deserved to win an Oscar. She, very, very, Yeah, but bit of a scary woman, that one. You wouldn't cross a woman. She come across as a real bitch, really. But yeah, it's great actors. I mean, it's not. I wonderful actors. I mean, I wouldn't. That's exactly. I don't know. I couldn't imagine, doing the wild thing with it. You know what I mean. But I think she's a great actress anyway. Okay, let me see. Paul Harrison. I visited Cuba once. Lovely country, but no mongering. I was with my ex. Oh, it's a wonderful country. What it is a wonderful country. The thing about what the infrastructure in Cuba is very, very slow. Everything's very, very slow there. If you get a train, from one place to the other and all that, expect a large delay. And I mean, I have a story which I could tell you about. I was getting a bus from Trinidad. There's a beautiful town called Trinidad in Cuba, very historical. I'm going back to Havana, and I booked a bus ticket. And the following day, at that, because I was staying in a private house with a Cuban family. The following day, a taxi turned up with a couple, and there was an English girl and a Cuban fella. Okay. And they were in the back of the taxi. I thought, what's happening there? They said, no bus, taxi. Apparently, there weren't enough people to fill the bus, and just sent a taxi instead, with the same price. But the thing is, the English girl, it was in the back. She was about 30 odd, and good looking woman. Yeah, good looking woman, but a bit of a bitch. She tried to pull a fast. I wouldn't trust it. What I tend to find that when you're in places where you meet English people who've been there for a long time, and they've been in Cuba or in Bolivia or Peru. When you meet English travelers who are in one particular place for a long time, quite often there's a reason for it, and quite often the reason I've found is that they found they're dealers basically, and they like it here. I had that once in a similar thing in Bolivia once. It was in La Paz, and I come across a couple of English fellas. They were like workmen really. But I went, I got chatting to them, and and they've been there for months in the same place. I thought, well, I'm traveling through. I don't know why you're staying in the same place for so long. But I went from one bar to another with them, and they were good guys to latch on. And then next thing I know, they're doing bloody deals with these Bolivian fellas, and then they're offering me, the old Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? I said, no, I'm not into that. I'm not doing any of that. It was clear what they were all about. So be careful when you meet people like that on your travels, because the fact is, if they're into the old, the white powdery stuff, and that's why they're staying there, because they love all that kind of stuff. If you're a traveler, then they may think you've got money, and they may be after you. Oh, just be careful. Never trust anyone, not even English people. Not even English people. Anyway, where was I? Michael Janaeus, I withdraw cash in UK pounds. Make sure that I withdraw cash in UK pound. Make sure they're English pound. You don't pay any fees and negotiate exchange rate. Best way cash is king and safest. Okay, thank you. Okay, Bottle Baby, Northern Thailand get hammered today. Right now, the storm is over the eastern area. It seems like they're having a lot of problems there. It will be all right by the time, November, December, January. It'll be all right by then. I don't think you're going to get any storms then. You may get the occasional downpour. But, like you say, as I said before, my thoughts are always with the small business owners and, the people who may have their livelihoods blown away or washed away. Ugh. Let me see now. Let me see. Okay, Simon Eyes, Tombstone, Bone Tomahawk, the True Grit remake, Great Westerns. Absolutely, absolutely. We're on to almost an hour now, so we're going to do a big question pretty soon. Anyway, it's quite a big question, so we're going to do a big question. It could even be a controversial one. Yogi Bear, when it hits Thailand, it will be downgraded to a tropical storm. If you go to Zoom Aid, you can see all the figures there if you click on the marks on the track. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. David Coleman, the Western movie, The Hateful Eight, was that a Tarantino movie? That I wonder, was that I tend to find a lot of Tarantino movies, if that was one, was very, very, very slow. I find a lot of Tarantino's later movies to be really slow. David Coleman, Paul Aston, taking a woman to Cuba is like taking sand to the beach. David Coleman's a big fan of Cuba. He obviously loves it out there. Simon Ice 41, The Hateful Eight was fab. Okay, I'll have to check that one out one of these days. Bottle Baby, there are motorised pot sellers in Bangkok. You can see many trucks with weed signs painted on the sides of the truck. They're roll-up trucks where they sell items like my food cart. It's bizarre, isn't it? Bloody bizarre when you think you could get locked up for a very long time in Thailand, in a very, very, a horrible bloody prison where you've festered away from eternity. And now they're openly selling the old, the old weedy stuff. Very, very strange. Do you think they'll have a U-turn on it? I mean, they've had meetings, haven't they? They have had meetings like it's. I mean, you never know. It could be a Yui. I wouldn't stock them on bloody weed. They might change the policies tomorrow, and you could get arrested for it. Okay, Simon Eyes. Stellar Unfiltered there, very nice, super smooth. Stellar is weaker in Britain now than it used to be. I think it was for tax reasons. John Mitch, I have a Thai Kazakhstan bank account and I use TransferWise to transfer money to my Thai bank and use my Thai ATM card to withdraw and avoid ATM fees. That sounds brilliant. That sounds brilliant. So getting some great information on here. Cheers for that anyway, John. Thanks for that, mate. Nice to hear from you anyway. David Coleman, remember Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid went down to South America to start robbing banks. Apparently they did go to Argentina, but they're most well known for going to Bolivia. I was in the town where the legend is that they got shot dead. That was the town called Tepiza in Bolivia, and that is a lovely, 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 lovely town. I mean, you got rainbow-colored mountains surrounding the town, and I will still maintain that the Bolivian landscape is more, fascinating than the Peruvian one. Peru is a famous landscape, but I think Bolivia is better in some ways. Wonderful stuff. David Pipe, I have a HSBC Premier account with accounts in the USA, Hong Kong, UK, and France. They rebate all my ATM fees, even when overseas in Thailand. That sounds good. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Paul Harrison, I used to smoke, gave up years ago, and I've recently found out my asthma has progressed to COPD, which isn't good news. Learned that lesson the hard way. I mean, I've never smoked. I've gone through my life, never ever smoked. David Mayer, Muslims do not drink, so they smoke. There does seem to be there does seem to be a connection there. They smoke in, they drink in Turkey. They do drink in Turkey. Yours travels. I bought 500 grams of amber leaf for my uncle off the cruise, duty free. 70 quid. That was 10 pouches. So £7 for 50 grams, but I've never smoked. It bloody stinks. They have that, what the Golden Virginia, don't they? It's so expensive. So expensive. I mean, listen, maybe people love smoking, that's their business, but I wouldn't. I prefer to drink. Sandra Taylor, I will look at my cornflakes differently tomorrow. Oh yeah. Oh, that comment, I made. Sorry if that offended anyone. Sorry if it offended anyone. Okay. David Coleman, stupid people spend money on cigarettes. If they save the ticket, go away on holiday every year. Yeah, I mean, for what you spend on cigarettes, you can have a lot of bloody dirty massages for that. Okay. Yeah, Clive says, whatever I say, I'm unclean, not a nice guy. I smoke, sorry, guys. It seems like the smokers are the villains in this chat, aren't they? David Coleman, not too many people smoke in Toronto, Canada now. We're smarter. Apparently, American has got a very, very low rate of smokers as well. I think the country that smokes the most is Greece. I think the Greeks love smoking, but I think the Turks are second because their cigarettes are so cheap, aren't they? Um, I think it's the Turks and the Greeks that love smoking most of all. Matthew Cartwright, nice to hear from you. Okay. Okay, let me just skip through this anyway. David Mayer, he mentioned Ennio Morricone. I'll get into that. Ennio Morricone wrote the best film. He was a genius. Ennio Morricone, absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He died earlier this year. Or was it last year that he died? And I paid a tribute to him and I live him. Ennio Morricone, absolutely wonderful. The spaghetti westerns would never have been the same without Ennio Morricone. They just wouldn't. Let's see. PJ Proby. Sergio Leone's Clint trials, you can say the spaghetti westerns are the best type. Absolutely wonderful. Can watch them over and over and over again. Okay, so let's see. Let's even get up close to the chat anyway, because I know that I'm a little teensy weensy, but yeah, behind. Okay, let's see. Dutch Farang. Does anyone know how I can open a Thai bank account? That's by all. I haven't had a Thai bank account yet, but it seems very, very easy to do it. I'll tell you what I'll do. It's coming up. It's squeaky door. We're going to do the big question in a minute. We're going to do the big question. Okay. In the meantime, it's squeaky door time. Okay. I'm back. Let's see. Okay, what have we got now? Let me see. Okay. John Milne. What would we do without the squeaky door? Okay. Let me see. Okay. So What's this, Simonize? I do enjoy a nice cigar with a pint once a month when I go to jazz clubs. When I was in Cuba for that brief time of 20 years, I did bring some cigars back, and they were, I really, really did enjoy it. I could smoke them, but I think they're very, very expensive. Okay, so it's time for. Where am I now? It's time for. Okay, so it's time for. We've got 160 people in the chat, so good. That's a good result anyway. Okay, having a happy Tuesday evening, and now it's time for the big question. But before we do that, I'm going to pour the rest of this. I think I might just treat myself to a real ale pretty soon. I fancy a nice real ale right now. Okay, here we go. So the big question, right? The big question tonight is, let me see. The big question tonight is, I'll get the banners up there again. Okay, create a banner. And this is the question, okay? This is the question, okay? There you go. Okay, so what the big question is right now, and this is controversial. I'm going to be quite a controversial one. May even upset some people, right? May offend some people, right? But I don't care. I don't care. Whatever you do in your daily life, if you switch the TV on and there are adverts on the TV, if you walk through your high street and someone approaches you, if you go to the petrol station or filling up your car with diesel or petrol, when you get to the time when you're putting your credit card into the machine to pay for your fuel, there's one word that comes out time and time again. It's always there. It's never ever very, very far away, and that is the word charity. Okay, charity seems to be everywhere. People in the street, shoving it, they just call them chuggers, don't they? Charity box, charity muggers. People in the streets, some of them well dressed and presentable and looking official, and some of them looking unofficial, approach you with their charity boxes, shaking. Come on, mate, where's your heart? Give us some money, okay? You switch the TV on, and it's one bloody, charity after another. Help these poor mules. Who were being ill-treated in Mongolia. Help this tribe of starving pygmies in the Amazon rainforest. Sponsor a leopard which you're never ever going to see in your life, and we'll send you a free cuddly toy. And then the next thing, you go to fill your car up full of fuel, and you put your card into the machine at the petrol station, and then it comes up 25 pence for charity, as well as paying for your fuel. Do you want to pay 25 pence for charity? What charity? I can't bloody see any charity. I can't. Charities, everyone wants money from you for charities. They all want money. And the question is, do you give money to charities? Okay, do you give money to charities? What do you think about them? What do you think about them? I know what I bloody think about them. Okay. Okay, so anyway, here we are. Let's see. Simonize 4, make it a good one. I'm up for it. Yeah, let's get worked up about this one. Let me see. Okay. David Coleman, we did not talk about the hot new PM in Italy. Right wing, I like it. She is right. We'll do that another night. The hot PM in Italy. But I'll probably get worked up about that. Italian women are very, very sexy. I'll probably get a bit worked up, wouldn't I? Let's see. Optional. Let's see. Who's that? Doug Pin, optional tax. McLaren F1 race, yes or no in the pen machine, yeah. Capo 17, charity begins on Walking Street, like it. McLaren says no. Ginger Joe, I give lots to charity every week, yet it's called income tax. Okay, nicely said. Let's see. David May, the big religions are big on the big religions are big on would you bloody trust them? The big religions. That's another controversial subject. Which one? I would just put the big religion, the big on. I wouldn't give them a bloody penny, you know, for any reason whatsoever. Let's see. Lewis C. Keir Starmer's wife is hot. We get some really, really creative comments on here. Kipax, I will never give again. Okay, good for you, mate. Good for you. McLaren sponsor a cougar. Kipax, no way. Pinball, Kipax biggest con. Sandra Taylor, charity begins at home. There is a lot to be said for that, because, you know, if I could give all my money to charity, and yet if I had no money left and I was starving, do you think anyone would come and bloody look after me? Yeah, absolutely. Mike David Merchant, yeah, no way, never. Up to me, no. Matthew Cartwright, someone has to say charity starts at home. Somebody already has. Okay. Paul Harrison, no. Bottle Baby, I gave to Wiki once. Wiki, is that Wiki Wiki information? Wikipedia. If you talk about Wikipedia, well, they do actually provide the service, because I use Wikipedia, you know, because it's a quick and easy way. And they do, like, you know, they're not exactly a charity. They're more like you can donate to us because we're giving you something. So I wouldn't exactly say that. McLaren F1 is, I donate to blind dogs. Well, do you see, blind dogs? No, that seems like a very, very, very worthwhile cause. And what offends me about charities, I mean, the rich, there's enough bloody money in this world to feed everyone, to clothe everyone, to house everyone, but it should come from the wealth. I mean, what offends me about charities is that they target the ordinary working people who hasn't got very much money in the first place. I mean, blind dogs, that's a very, very, very good cause. And apparently, I think I'm right in saying that to actually train a guide dog for the blind costs about £40,000 per dog. So it's a lot of money. But, you know, shouldn't all of this come out of the national health or the income tax or something? David Mayer, I pay taxes, let the state deal with it. Absolutely. Let's see, Andrew Hammond, charity stays at home, full stop. Capo 17, Ed, coin changing machines in Asda also asking you wish to donate, yeah? And where's this money going to? If you say, when it's, you know, the one that I'm familiar with is in the filling station. That's the one that I'm familiar with, in the filling station, okay. Now, you fill your card up with about bloody 70 quid's worth of diesel, 80 or whatever it is, it's extortionate. And you work for all that money, okay? And then you wait till your turn in the queue at the petrol station, the filling station, I should say. You put your card in, you know, you press your number in, and it says 25 pence for charity. What charity? Would somebody like to explain to me what charity? I know it's only 25 pence. What? I can't see any charity. Perhaps the guy behind the counter, maybe he could explain to me what charity it is. But no, he can't do that. I don't know why he can't do that. Because there's a queue former behind me, and he hasn't got the bloody time. And he doesn't know anyway. And he doesn't even speak English half the time. Let's see. Kipax, I give to the girls on soy 6. They need it more. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Mike, see all the so-called CEOs of charities are rich. Yeah, absolutely. No, their argument is that being the CEO of a major charity requires someone who's got exceptional special skills and, you know, is really great. And people like that are gold dust. So you've got to pay them a hell of a lot of money. Otherwise, if you don't pay them a hell of a lot of money to run that charity, then those people will go somewhere else. and could probably make a lot more money doing, an honest job. This is their argument, but yeah, absolutely, they are absolutely, they have the kind of salaries that the rest of us can only dream of. Boy, okay, this question has been covered before. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. We talked about Live Aid and rich rock stars targeting the ordinary working people for money, but we didn't cover this one. Let's see. Roger Maroney, only 2 or 3 officials per year. Okay. PJ Proby, very rarely, like the Salvation Army kettle at Christmas time. Everyone else can get pens. Okay. Okay, Kippax. Okay, thank you. Now, Kippax is, whatever, Kippax is about people leaving houses in wells. No, basically, I've made a well, and my money does go to a registered charity. Basically, when I die in my will, it's a charity that's been around for over 100 years and has a great reputation. Now, nothing's perfect. No charity is perfect, but I have. But it's a charity which I feel very, very strongly about, and which has been around. If you're going to leave money in your will to a charity, then leave it to a charity that has got a very well-known past history, like 100 years, that is very, very worthwhile. Do not leave your money to a charity that is run by someone who looks like a bloody smarmy double glazing salesman. Delayed Dave. Yes, of course I give money to charity. Medicine San Francisco, Cancer Research, and DSA. Well, I'm just saying, if you genuinely believe that, they're important. But don't you think that the governments should be funding all of those things? I mean, we pay enough income tax. It's just just what I'm saying. Okay, JJ975. Never. Charities are profit-making companies. The thing about charities, what you've got to understand about charities, is that when somebody makes a phone call, and you should never accept cold calls anyway, but when someone makes a phone call to you, and has a nice voice, and they're telling you that what you need to do is to donate money, and you shouldn't donate money to bloody cold callers anyway. Give them your bank account details. You shouldn't do that anyway, of course. But where are these people phoning from? It may sound like they're phoning, they're a nice person on the other end of the line. What these people are, they're actually phoning from a big call center, and there's a supervisor there, and they've got a chart there. And like the guy who's running that office, he's probably hammering all of those people to reach targets. Charities have to reach targets, like any business does. It has to reach targets because someone's getting money from somewhere for all of this. I mean, if you think that this nice person on the other end of the line has a genuine charity that you should contribute to, don't think of it as a nice person on the other end of the line. Think of it as a bloody call center with some bastard, in charge of it, who's ruthlessly forcing all the other people on the telephones to reach targets or else. It's not a nice environment. It's not nice. Yours travels. I do give some decent clothes and items to charity shops every year or two when I'm sorting my stuff out, but never donate cash. Well, that's probably good. I mean, I once cleared out, at home, and I had a lot of stuff that was not really valuable, but I simply didn't want anymore. And I thought the charity shops would appreciate it, so I did give it to Oxfam. And they did, they did appreciate it. But the thing is, if you donate cash, quite right, if you donate cash, where's it going? Is someone going to pocket that? Where does that go? So quite right, absolutely. Pocanto, hi Eddie. Yes, the single mums on the. I'm not gonna. McLaren F1 race. I don't know. I donate £10 for dogs for the blind. Oh, okay. No, the thing about charities, no, £10 for dogs for the blind. That's a wonderful cause. Blind people and dogs. That's a wonderful cause. Is all of that £10 going? How much? How much of that £10 is actually going to what it's meant to be going, or how much is it going towards admin or whatever? You've always got to consider that. A lot of the time when you donate money to charities, even official, honourable charities, they need to be a bit more transparent about how much of this money is actually going to what you want it to go to, or how much is going on people's wages or admin and all the rest of it, or paying for the executive, the CEO who lives in a big house somewhere. Lewis say, I give all my charity money to single mums in Thailand. Good for you, mate. Good for you. I am Tilt. Lots of these charities are a scam. Don't get me started on Albanian big issue sellers. I'm on that note, I'm going to grab a beer. Yo. Oh, okay. So before we go any further, never heard of this one before. Wainwright Golden Bear, the Golden Bear. Wainwright the Golden Bear. Okay, get that in there. Have a little. Which of the live stream, as a break like that, this, for me to pour a beer. It's nice. Got quite a distinctive taste to it. Tastes very much like a cheap Wetherspoons beer, this one. Nice. Okay, right. I am Tilt. A lot of these charities are a scam. Don't get me started on Albanian big issue sellers. Have they overtaken that now? All the big issue salesmen that I know, they're all English people. But have the Albanians taken over that? What is the big? Has anyone ever had a big issue copy? I used to know a big issue salesman down there, and it was quite a pleasant chap. Always bear in mind, a lot of these big issue sellers have criminal records. Imagine if somebody shoves a big issue at you one day. It's this big issue, sir. And you look at the bastard and you think, wait a minute, I know you. You're the bastard who burgled my house and you went to prison for it. So always think of what these people are all about. And but are they into that these days? There aren't many where I live. They're all English people. But it wouldn't surprise me. Oh well. Bottle Baby is donating like you at the checkout in the grocery store. And when you pay with your credit card, you have an option to add a tip. No, we don't add to, I don't know what country you're in, Bottle Baby, but we don't do that here. We don't do that. We don't do it on the grocery store. You may do it in some other places. In some establishments, you will do it. You have an option to add a tip, but not in a grocery store. Joe Hart, I give to St. Martin in the Fields for the homeless. Okay. We covered that, so we've done something like that. We have done something like that. I give to St. Martin in the Fields for the homeless. And being homeless must be a terrible, dreadful thing. But do you know exactly where that money's going to? And do you know how many of those homeless are really, really genuine? Or it's a big controversial issue, that one. But but thanks for your input anyway, Joe. Thanks for your input. Okay, Mickey P. Yes, the Clare House Hospice on the Wirral. They do an amazing job. Right now, is this a Clare House? Is this a cancer place? That's. It's a terrible thing. We can all be. We can all be victims of that. And you know, a hospice. I have a hospice near where I live, and I know some people who who don't who donate to it and say it's an honourable cause. I even know people who go out on sponsored runs, midnight walks, to raise money, raise money, to pay for the local hospice. But don't you think this should all come out of the national health? We pay enough tax, don't we? Shouldn't it all be for? Why did we rely on charities for all of that? I mean, I'm still not convinced that they should rely on charities. I think there's enough money in government funds and the income tax that we pay to cover that sort of stuff, really. But good for you anyway, Mickey. Good for you. Yogi Bear, charities should be sustainable and stop begging to help people, but pay more on their fancy offices and first class flights for the bosses. And I give nothing to any. Okay, Simon I's 41. No, I don't. But I don't mind giving bric-a-brac to charities. Better than throwing it away. Yeah, I think that's the thing, you see, because the thing is, if you give old clothes or old items that you don't want, then I mean, maybe it's the more honourable charities that will accept them. I mean, it's the ones that want your cash. They're the ones I'll be suspicious of. Now, let me just tell you. So, okay, let's go to a couple more chats. Sandra Taylor, I do give to the British Legion for poppy appeal. That's about it. Okay, fine. Good for you, Sam. And that's a very, very honourable cause. Very honourable cause. Yours travels. We have a local charity, the local pub, that's been going 25 years. They do some good work for the local community. So I do sponsor a lot for walks and bike rides, etc. But you see where the money goes. Okay, that's the important thing. You need to see where the money goes. Problem is, in a lot of charities, you don't. Now, let me just tell you a couple of things that I want to mention. Right. Okay, I'll mention this, and this will kind of speak for itself. Some years ago, where I live, there was, charity, that charity Help for Heroes, and this is for soldiers returning from Afghanistan and Iraq. Some of those young men who lost limbs, and that was terrible. The veterans from Iran and Iraq, absolutely dreadful. Now, Help for Heroes was set up to help those people. Help for Heroes, it speaks for itself. Where I live. Well, in the region where I live, the area where I live, somebody, run the local Help for Heroes branch in this particular part of the country, and they raised something like £350,000. Yes, and this bastard who was running this charity pocketed the money for himself, and he went to prison. He went to prison. He should have gone. They should have bloody thrown the keys away. I don't know how long he went to prison for. He'll probably be out in a few years. But they should have thrown the keys away, as far as I'm concerned. But he went to prison for it. Now, this fella was already not short of a few bob. Now, but he pocketed the 350,000 for himself. Now, what I'd like to know is what kind of person, what kind of rattlesnake would do that? And what was he planning on spending the money on? Was he going to buy himself a nice house? Or maybe he already had a house. Maybe he had a big house and wanted to pay the mortgage off on it. I mean, when you think about it, what kind of man, what kind of weasel, what kind of rattlesnake would possibly steal that kind of money and live in a house knowing that it was paid for by money that he had stolen from a charity that was set up to help army veterans who may have lost limbs or suffered in other ways? What kind of person would do that? You do hear about in charities. You do hear about charity scams. Help for Heroes is not an obscure charity scam. It's not an obscure charity. But on this particular branch of it, this bastard pocketed all that money. I mean, how disgusting is that? Just wanted to get that off my chest. Okay. Capo, millions donated to religious charity. Religious charities, yeah, thousands still living on the streets. Well, I think all religions should be thrown in the bin in the 21st century. Personally, that religion of any type wouldn't get sod all from me. Boo-hoo, every time I tip a waitress, it's charity. So, tipping's a different subject. It's a different subject. Some of the waitresses and other people, they're not always on a lot of money. And if they really, make you feel good, then I sometimes would give them a tip. I'd give them a tip. Boo-hoo, charity have been given your time as well, volunteering, for example. Okay, yeah. Some people in charity shops do volunteer. I think they tend to be retired people who don't really have a great deal else to be doing. Let's see. I am Tilt. I'll be donating a few inches to my Filipino girlfriend tonight. A few inches, eh? So you've revealed yourself, eh? Have you? Okay. Mike, it's over 100 quid to fill a car. Oh, gee, I've got rid of my car a few months because I go abroad so much. I don't need the car. I don't need it. And there was issues with a gearbox and all that. I couldn't be bothered playing the bloody insurance and all that. So I mean, I don't want a car sat up for half the bloody year while I'm abroad. So at this moment in time, I haven't got a car. I'm kind of glad I don't miss it. Kipax, have you seen the self-service machine at Tesco now asking to donate every time? I don't use the self-service. Well, I don't go into supermarkets anymore. I've got another Asda delivery coming tomorrow, by the way. About 150 quid's worth, yeah. About 30 quid's worth of food and about 120's worth of booze. That's coming tomorrow. And I mean, it's going to be fun. What are they going to forget? This time they haven't sent me an email to say, sorry, mate, but you can't have this, that, and the other. That's Asda for you. Ginger Joe, 1972. Some charity chief executives earn average of 200 grand and the rest. Well over double an MP's basic. Yeah, exactly. Their argument is that they've got to pay them that. They've got to pay them that kind of money. Otherwise, these are very, very special people with special talents. If you don't pay them that, then you'll go somewhere else. Jesus Christ, what a load of bollocks. Pocono Swartz, a lot of charities benefit the collecting organisation and not the needy, okay? McLaren, there's a blind college in Hereford. I donate to them, but also got collar coming out of Tesco 9 years ago. So also donated dogs for the blind. Okay. No, McLaren, you donate to charities. Okay. No, that's your decision, mate. And I'm not knocking you for it. But at this point, I want to mention the second story that I want to talk about. I mentioned the one about the evil bastard who pocketed the money from Help for Heroes and thankfully was collared and sent to prison for it. He should never have come out. But the other thing I want to mention is the way these charities will hound you. Now, there was a case in the newspaper a few years ago of a very old lady. I mean, she may have been 80, she may have even been 90. And she I think she started off seeing an advert on the TV, help, I don't know, help the dogs or whatever the hell it was. Help the starving pygmies in the Amazon rainforest, whatever the hell it was. But she thought it was terrible. So she donated to this charity, right? And she donated on a regular basis. But once she'd done that, she was then in the system. And once you're in the system of charities, there's charities out there that thinks that person donates to a charity. So that means that person's a soft touch. So I'm going to bombard her with this charity and that. And before she knew it, this old lady was being harassed by charity companies because she donated to one. All the others started harassing her and asking her for money, and then They were telling her the same sub stories, and she was donating to this one and that one. And this old lady died with not much money, hardly any money. And it was said that her cause of death is because she was hounded by the bloody charity companies. Because she was good-natured enough to donate to one of them, the rest of them, got her details, for database and started harassing on left, right, and centre. They're ruthless, these people. A lot of these charities are ruthless. They are ruthless. They are. So Capo 17 sponsored a donkey, and we were saying you were cuddly, so keep this away and feed the poor animals. Idiots. I think I've seen that one. Lewis C. I sponsored a guide dog puppy. Okay, well, yeah, well, good for you. David Coleman, dogs for the blind people. I'd give that 100%. Okay, dogs for the blind. No, that's important. I mean, a dog can make so much difference to a blind person. But do you not think that this money should come? This money should come from the taxes that we pay. It should come from the national health and all the other taxes that we pay in a bloody tax. I mean, and everyone who gives money to to the blind people's the dogs for the blind. I mean, how many of these people who give the money are actually wealthy themselves? Quite often, these people who give money to charity, any charity, are people who are themselves struggling to pay their bills, their council tax, their car insurance, the road tax, the TV license, and all the rest of the bollocks that we have to pay. Kipex, conning people for 100 years. Okay. Let's see. A little bit behind on the chat. Popcorn, I don't buy Christmas cards, so I give a donation to Christie's in Manchester. Cancel says. I don't give anywhere else. Well, cancer research and heart disease research. It's all very, very. But it's all very good. But I mean, why do these people always question? Why do they rely on donations? Like I said a moment ago, I still think it should all be part of the national health somehow. Mike, I would say trust no charities and give nothing. Okay. Kipex, I'm living my money to my cats and dogs for a laugh. Okay. I thought I was going to find that funny. Let's see, Matthew Carter. Okay, I'm not going to promote any charities on here. I'm not going to do that. Let's see, Sean Harris. Only about 3% of the monies goes to the actual charity. The rest goes to public schoolboys who could be in a CEO of a charity. Well, Popcorn, I hate those cheery youngsters who try and collar you in supermarkets with a. I won't give them time. I've seen people. I've seen addicts on the streets of where I live who've got a charity box in their hand. I don't know where they got that. I've seen pissheads who've got a charity box in their hand. I wouldn't trust them at the best of the time, but I know some of these people. Some of these people are, and they are plugging away at charity box. They call them chuggers, don't they? Charity muggers. If someone comes to me in the street, that's bugger off. Don't even make conversation with them. PJ Proby, some charities will pay 90% of the money they receive in fees to companies that do the fundraising for them. And usually the upper management own a piece of the fundraiser company. It's all crooked, okay? Mike from Wales, why do some of these chief executives of these charities on over 200 grand a year? Well, because they're greedy bastards. Let's see. David Coleman, I'm leaving all my money to the cats. My ex-wife will not get a dime. Oh, go for you, man. Go for you. Go for you. Capo 17. It takes years to train guide dogs. It's a very, very expensive process. Guide dogs are very, very important. They're very, very important, and they mean it. I mean, the idea for anyone to be blind, it's a truly dreadful, dreadful thing. But we should help. But we should help blind people. We should do. And the guide dog is very, very important to these people. In many places. But I think the idea is that we're talking about charities who target the ordinary working people who are already struggling to pay the bill. And what would be interesting, I mean, in this day and age, I mean, how many people have got disposable income in this day and age? I mean, just look at this winter with the fuel price. Well, a lot of these charities will wrap up really because they're probably not going to get too many donations in the future. Don't forget. I mean, I'm just talking about this. We're just having a discussion about this. I'm not trying to discourage anyone into not giving to any charity. I'm not saying you should give to charity or you shouldn't. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. You know what I mean? Let's see. AJ, I give money to Water Aid each Christmas. Okay. Kipax, big issue with shite. Have you seen inside there? Do you know something? I mentioned I knew this big issue salesman. He's quite a pleasant guy, and I actually bought a copy of his big issue around Christmas time once. And one of the reasons I bought it is because a couple of days after that, I was heading on a flight to Thailand, and this heart that I've got told me that this guy isn't going to be going anywhere. Whereas me, I'm going to Thailand, and I bought the big issue from him, and I didn't read it. I was too busy. I just put it to one side, but I bunged it in my suitcase anyway, and I took this big issue out to Pattaya, and I remember I was at a beach bar in Pattaya. The day after I arrived, I was there having a cold beer in the pits of winter time, soaking up the sun, wonderful. And what I'd done is I took the big copy of the big issue to the bar with me. I had it in my bag, and I took it with me, and I was reading this copy of the big issue while I was sitting in a bar in Pattaya. And I looked through the pages of it all, this copy of the big issue, and I thought, what a load of crap. What a load of bloody, what use is this to people? What use is this to people? I mean, a couple of adverts here, a couple of adverts there, a couple of crap articles here and there. What a load of crap. But at least I made the big issues day okay anyway. But Clan F1 race, it's all a con. David R, nice to hear from you, David. He's about to go out to Thailand very, very soon. He's really counting the days, probably within the next week anyway, David. Cheers to you, mate. Hope to see you out there anyway. Good for you. Have a great time. Keep in touch and keep in touch, David. He's been on this, on the other channel anyway a few times. So keep in touch, David, and tell us how it's going. Mazza, I donate to the Cronenberg charity regularly. Good for you. Sounds like my kind of thing. Alan H, Romanian big issue sellers up north. Really? Someone mentioned Albanians and Romanian. And do people actually? Well, some people probably do. I mentioned we're not really talking so much about homeless people here, but I did actually witness with my own eyes a homeless guy outside Tesco's, a while back, and this old lady, offered him a sandwich which he bought, a packaged sandwich he bought as part of her shopping, and gave it to him, and he basically said, "No, I don't want it. I want your money." And what's he going to spend that on? Arthur Lobon, I'm in Rio at the moment. Cheers to that. If you want to see people who need help, come here, not the work-shy scrounges we have in the Rio. Okay. Do you know what? That's, whatever you think of that'll cause offense to some people. But I'm going to read that out again simply because I think that's a good, honest comment. Arthur Lobon, I'm in Rio at the moment. If you want to see people who need help, come here, not the work-shy scrounges we have in the UK. I'll drink to that. Arthur Lobon, if you were in Rio, then can you please go to the balcony bar, in Copacabana, and tell Sandra from the Amazon that I love her. Okay? Sandra Taylor, Mickey agreed about Clare House. I donate some furniture when I move from the Whittle. Okay, thank you for that. I on tilt. Government could send billions in weapons overseas, however, can't fund causes here. Yeah. Another. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, what? I'll leave that on the screen. I'll put that on the screen again. What I am tilt is saying there. I mean, you took a small portion from all those, all those armory and all the military stuff, a small portion, and that will probably fund all those charities that you send money to. Really. But then again, I mean, are we going to? Oh, we're not going to talk about missiles flying through the sky and all of that controversy. We don't want to talk about that just now. Arthur Lobon, Sean Harris, that's 100% correct. The CEOs pocket the vast majority of the funds. Absolutely. So when you're given to all these charities, big or small, the money that what you should ask, what you should investigate is what it's all about, how long that charity's been in existence, whether it's had any scandals in the past, and how much of what you're actually given is actually going to go to what you want it to go to. And if they can't answer you all of those questions, then tell them to piss off. Okay? Yours travels, plenty of them snakes about, Ed. Absolutely. David Mayer and embezzlers usually gamble the money away. Okay? Who's that? Ball Baby. The guy felt nothing because he knows that less than 3% actually goes to the cause. Are you talking about the snake who stole all that money from Help for Heroes? I hope he festers away from imprisonment for the rest of his bloody life. I'm just going to put this. I'm going to comment on it. Yogi Bear. Do you remember Captain Selling that raised all that money? Okay, I'm not going to comment on that. That's Yogi Bear's comment. Farang Travels, charity starts at home. David Coleman, this is a little depressing. Let's move on to the next topic. The next we've been up for nearly 2 hours. We're going to wrap things up soon. Next topic. It's Tuesday night. There's not no. If you turn on the TV, you see more stuff about more stuff about politics and the pound's falling and the world's economy is going to collapse, and you say this is depressing. Okay. We'll I'll tell you what we'll do. I will do another in a minute. We'll do something else just for a bit of fun. We'll finish off with a little bit of fun. Chugsy, thanks for that comment. Yours travels, David Coleman next 8. I tell you what, David assisted death. David Coleman next subject assisted death. I'll tell you what. I've supplied a lot of the big questions that we talk about in recent times. If people out there have got a genuine topic that you think would make a big question, then drop me a message in the comments section of the videos, and we'll talk about it. We'll make a note and everything we can. It's not too offensive to people. I mean, that assisted death. I've never thought of. That's not a bad question to ask. That not a bad question. We'll do that some other time. Yeah, McLaren. Ed will have at least 5 security tags delivered to. I've got it. I'm almost out of spirits. I've still got a tiny bit of rum and a tiny bit of whiskey. I've drank all the gin, so it's rum, whiskey, and gin, as well as lots of other stuff coming tomorrow. But no, I'm not going to make that same mistake. That was a bloody how the hell? How could I have been so dozy? Or the people who've been so dozy were packing my bottle of rum with the security tag still on it. Jesus Christ. And it's not the first time that's happened. Because the next delivery I got, the woman who delivered it, she took it out to the van and got this, the tag off it. You know, so it's not the first time that's happened. Mickey P, Children's Hospital. Yes, you're right there. We should not have to do this, but we do not live in a just world, unfortunately. I personally been there on a number of occasions, and they do sterling work. Okay, fine. I mean, you know, I mean, the hospice where near where I live, and I hear good reports that they are great people. I mean, I just bloody hope that I never end up there. It's the last chance saloon, really. Who's this? Is this kickbacks? I remember we all had fun and laugh. They were the days when we have fun and laughs. Okay, depressing stuff. Okay. Ginger Joe, I had 500 Kit Kats in my fridge, and my mate had one in his. I pressured him into giving this to a homeless person. That's basically how celebrity charity appeals work. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's like David Coleman, Kipax, tell Eddie to move on. We're finishing the show in about 8 minutes' time. We you know, it's, I mean, you know, it's not a bad little topic to talk about. It's got people going. There's still 140 people in the chat. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Is this Sandra Taylor? Don't think there will be anything else. He will be signing up. Okay, what we're got. Wait. Listen. There's a lot of crap live streams out. There's a lot of crap live streams out there where they talk about bloody nothing other than bitching at each other. At least here, I'm doing something different. Okay, doing something different. Okay. So what we're going to do now. Let me just say, we're well behind with all of this. Oh, Nick Ross is here. Nick Ross in Bangkok. There are hundreds of poor people who were fed by Farang charity every day. Well, no, we're not going to put that on there. Nice to hear from you anyway. Arthur Lobon. Balcony bar is up by the Hilton Edge. I'm at the other end near Ipanema. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, Iceman, Etty, you're going to have to be putting the Samaritans number at the end of these streams. Okay. So what we're going to do now, okay? So we said our piece about that. We waffled on. It was a good stimulating conversation. Not to everyone's taste, but then you kind of, you can't be a winner all the time. So we're going to finish off with one last little blip. Okay, let's see what do we got here. One last little bit of fun to play out. What have we got here? Okay, now this is a little teensy weensy. This is a little bit of fun. Okay, now there is it. Okay, so let's see another one last little old question. Okay, create a banner. There you go. Okay, so let's see. Now, what's in a name? What is in a name? Now, let me just go through this a minute. Okay, so let's just go through this. Now, this is a news story that was in the paper. This is a pub landlord, and he's called Nigel. Okay, now apparently, let me just read this out first of all. Let me just read out this. Apparently, Nigels are the dying breed, right? Now, let me see, okay? Now, apparently the name Nigel, oh no, not Nigel, sadly, according to the Office for National Statistics, no children were given the name Nigel in 2020. In fact, only 28 Nigels have been born in the UK since 2015, okay? So the word Nigel is not the coolest name, but you've got Nigel Mansell, you've got Nigel, who else? Nigel Mansell and not the fact we can't even bloody think of it now, but there have been a few famous Nigels. Yeah, and here it says here, I cannot think of anyone who came to prominence in the middle of the last decade. It was called Nigel and was objectively repugnant enough to basically murder the popularity of an entire name. So Nigel is a very, very uncool name. You had Nigel Benn, who was a really exciting fighter. You had Nigel Mansell, who was a world champion in Formula One. These were great Nigels. But apparently the name Nigel has been a very, very uncool name. And I think it's always been a bit of an uncool name, really. I mean, little instance, anyone called, I mean, in a working class background where I come from, nobody was ever called Nigel. It was a bit of a namby-pamby name. And I do remember once, I was with some friends years ago, and we were looking at the thing about where to go, and I remember I suggested, should we go in that bar there? And somebody said to me, oh, no, I don't want to go in there. It's full of Nigels, that is. I mean, Nigel's always been a bit of a namby. You tend to associate Nigels with public school, wet behind the ears kind of people. So that's Nigel's. And anything else about Nigel? Okay. So anyway, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. We have somebody, Nigel Smith. Yeah, so this is Nigel Smith, landlord of the Fleece Inn in Worcestershire. He's just held something called Nige Fest to drum up support for the dying name. I'm pretty sure it's a guess that we've got far more Mohammeds being born in the UK right now than we have Nigels. But apparently, you go back a couple of years, and Mohammed was the most popular name given to a baby. Okay, so the question is, that's Nigel. That's what I think of Nigel, okay? Now, the question is, and this is simply a bit of fun, a certain name of a person, maybe a popular name. I mean, what name, when you hear the name of a certain person, you think, I don't trust this bastard, simply because, he's got the same name as other people who haven't trust. The question is, what name do you not trust? If you meet a person with a certain name, you think, I've had bad experiences with people with that name. What name? Any name? Okay. Yeah, yours travels, Nigel. Okay. Yeah, Ben. Okay, Nigel Ben. Yeah, David May. There was that song years ago. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel is just such an uncool name. Stephen Forex, Mansell, you're not going to like what I'm going to say in a minute, mate. Mansell Havers, that's all I can think of. Mansell Havers, Mansell. Oh, Nigel Havers, yeah, absolutely. Nigel Lawson. Nigel Lawson, okay. Nigel Farage, yeah, there's more Nigel. Nigel Farage is cool. He's a cool, I like Nigel Farage, okay. McLaren F1, Nigel Farage, okay. Stephen Fox, we're only making plans for Nigel. Farang Travels, can't think of many famous Eddies. I'm not keen on my own name. I wouldn't have chose that when it was chosen for me. But famous Eddies, well, there's Edward Snowden, there's Edward Scissorhands. They're quite famous, aren't they? Let's see. Ginger Joe, Nigel Kennedy, posh tosspot that pretended to put on a Cockney accent when younger. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Yogi Bear, Gary is another name that is dying out. People want to call their kids after car makers, like Mercedes, or after flowers or whatever. Gary, you always tend to associate Gary with being villains. Yeah, Gary's a, it's not a bad name, but all the Garys that I've ever known, they tend to be villains somehow. I don't know why that is. I wouldn't call any child, Nigel. Gary. I am still Klaus Schwab's. Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay. So the name, I'm going to say the name that I'm always suspicious of. Yeah, Mr. G-Man, Eddie the. Oh, I've been called that one a number of times. I've been called Eddie the Eagle. Yeah, absolutely. I've been called that a few times. Let's see. Ginger Joe, never trust a Rupert. Now, there's not many Ruperts. I mean, they say Nigel's a dying name. I'm pretty sure there's not many Ruperts about these days. Famous Rupert's. Well, there's Rupert the Bear, isn't there? Okay, let's see. Okay, Jimmy said, yeah, Kipax, flow for the girl. Danish bacon. I don't trust anything foreign, sorry, but that's the way I'm wired. Okay. No, the name that I'm always suspicious. It's just simply because you know you don't all the people that you met in your life. I don't trust anyone called Steve. Sorry about this, but all the Steves I've ever known in my life, they're always people with the same characteristics. They're always people who get pissed, squander the money, and they're always after you for a lend. The Steves are always asking you for a fiver or a tenner. I'm skint, mate. I've spent all my money. You couldn't lend us a fiver. I mean, Steves are always on the borrow. They always are. That's just my own personal, let's say. Stephen Ford, sorry, Stephen. I mean, sorry, Stephen. You're a nice guy, but all the Steves that I've met, Steves are always people who are on the borrow. That's just my own personal experience. Okay. Who's this? Bob the Snob, Scotland. Tony Blair. Okay. Nick Ross, Stevie Wonder. Okay. Yeah, Danish bacon. Everyone's got a mate called Dave. That's such a bland name, that isn't it? In this day, David or Dave used to be a cool name many years ago. I think it's become a very, very bland name, that one, hasn't it? Your travels, am I Steve? I don't know you, Christian, there, but I've met so many bloody. Honestly, the friends I've had over the years, I've met so many people called Steve. I've been reluctant to make another friend called Steve because they're always people who they're always people who want to go out and get pissed and squander their money and then the next minute they're knocking on your door wanting a lend of a fiver. They're all the Steves that I've known. Simon Eyes. My name is Simon, becoming less common. I like my name. Simon's a cool name. Simon Templar. Bloody good name. Good name, cool name, that one. Let's see. Sandra Taylor. Eddie, my Steve said Eddie. Okay, you don't trust Eddies. Okay, don't trust Eddies. Damon, nice to hear from you, Damon. That's Damon's a cool name. Nice to hear from you, Damon. I was not Damon. The Omen. He was called Damien, wasn't it? But Damon's a good name. That's a cool name. Nice to hear from you. Stephen Forex, Stevie Nicks in the day, of course. Yes, he was cool. Cool, nice. I wouldn't say no. Arthur Lobon. The name Malcolm always makes me laugh. You tend to find Malcolms tend to be dimwits, don't they? Not to Mummy's boys. Mummy's boys are not Malcolms, aren't they? Malcolm the Mummy's boy. That's the way it is. Who's there? Sandra Taylor, Eddie. I think it's bedtime. Well, we've gone over that time anyway. So anyway. Mickey P. Thank you tonight, guy. Thank you for that super chat. That's bloody good. That's very, very kind of you, Mickey P. Thanks for that. Okay. McLaren F1 is my dad's called Edwin. Wouldn't trust him. Edwin, Jesus, I've never met anyone who's actually called Edwin. Ginger Joe, Eddie. How about a chat of what is your claim to fame? What is your? Oh yeah, well, all right. Remind me about that one. It sounds all right. We'll think about that one. Capo 17, Steve Austin, $6 million man could be trusted. Okay. Let's see. Nick Ross, Lucifer. That's bizarre. I wonder does anyone ever call their child Lucifer? Do you know something? I once did sales and I used to look through phone books and all that. There's some bizarre names in Britain. Mrs. Snowball, Mrs. Panto. And there's a family up, I think, the north of England called Crappers. Honestly, that's their surname. Crappers. Lily Crap. Oh, some people have some, bloody bizarre names. Okay, let me see. Okay. I am too. Blokes called Leslie. Leslie. Yeah. Leslie Grantham. Oh, okay. Sandra Taylor. I'm going to have to turn you off now. Steve. Oh, we have fellas called Steve. Sandra Taylor's fella is called. I'm upset. Oh, okay. He's probably a nice Steve. It's just, I mean, it's just that the ones that I've met are not very nice. They're always trying to borrow, whenever I make a friend called Steve, and and I was there to myself, Jesus Christ, he's called Steve, is he? Tomorrow he'll be wanting the land of a fiver. Sorry. Apologies to Steve, anyways. Apologies to you, Sandra. Apologies to Steve. Kipax, we may as well be ethnic here. Abdul, okay. Let's see. Ginger Joe, 1972. Christopher Lillycrap and Kids Telly. There's also another bloody awful name. And there was a footballer called Windass. Oh, Jesus. I don't care. I pay £1,000 to change a name like that. Okay. Capos, Damien 666. Okay. Let's see. David Cohen, must be 1,000 Mohammeds in London alone. Okay. We better get that off the screen. Let's see. Tom Easton, I have an uncle called Leslie, in my arrogant opinion. Okay. Let's see. Bob the Snob Scott. I met a nice lassie in Pattaya called Steve. She was called Steve. A boy called Sue. Yeah, Arthur Lobon, a boy called Sue, a lassie called Steve. Oh my God, we're getting crazy now. Listen, I'm going to wrap this one up now. David Coleman, they have guys called Jesus in Latin America. I think the opening of A Fistful of Dollars, that little lad who runs out, I think his name's Jesus, isn't it? Well, Jesus Christ Almighty. There you go. So they're taking his name in vain. Listen, we've gone 2 hours and 8 minutes now. We've had a bit of fun. We've depressed a few people. Some people probably want to go and throw themselves in the river after this. Okay, but it's Tuesday night. At least we're not talking total absolutes. Whatever. There's some crap live streams out there. Someone else, but Stephen Forex. Steve McQueen, pretty cool Steve and Buscemi, okay? Okay, let's see, okay? Who's this? Let's see, Mr. G-Man, I have to say Jesus at the traffic lights, okay? I have to say Jesus when I open an unexpected bill, okay? So listen, I'm gonna sign off now anyway. Listen, guys, thanks for coming along tonight. We've gone over 2 hours. Remember, Mondays and Tuesdays, there's not much happening on the TV. It's one of the most negative, non-entity times of the week, Monday and Tuesday evenings at 10 o'clock. So we have people. We had 200 people in the chat last night. Tonight has been a fair number of people, okay? Tune in. Let's have a talk. Sometimes it gets exciting. Sometimes it gets boring. But what the hell? That's life. Listen, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. It's been great having your company, and I'll be back on the main channel on Thursday night with the live stream. Some travel, some travel questions on travel talk on Thursday night, and back on this one on Saturday. Okay, cheers, guys. Thanks for coming along this evening. I'm signing off now.